one thing that comes to my mind is how um, we learn when we're young that some people don't want to hear or know our emotions, what's going on with our emotions. So it's like built into childhood to learn to repress. And I find that overcoming that, being okay with myself being experiencing emotion, and then when needed sharing that with people that want to know as well, making that jump has been a big one for me, and it's still happening. And I find that fascinating, and I'm curious to know why is repressing emotions so much a part of so many of us, and like why is that such a prevalent way of dealing with and working with emotion?
Ooh, I've got some with this one. Sounds like we're talking about like the blocks to letting your emotions to flow. And lately I've really been dealing with this with my 3-year-old because she has been going through some serious tantruming, or like waking up screaming in the middle of the night, and then she said, "I won't tell you." When I asked her what was wrong, I was like, "Oh my goodness, she doesn't, okay, if she won't tell me, does that mean that she doesn't trust me to hold
Mhm.
her emotions and to
Mhm.
give her space for what she's feeling?" And I realized at that moment, I realized, oh, I just want her to stop screaming and go back to sleep because I want to go back to sleep. So you just need to stop because I'm tired, right? And so I wasn't giving her space to feel what she was feeling. And because I had my own agenda, and I placed the more importance on my agenda than hers, right? So right then I was teaching her like, no, your emotions aren't important to me. And so I sat with her, and I covered my ears. Things I was like, this is too loud, but I just sat there with her, and so that she would know that I was there with her, whatever she was going through, right? I mean, I can still take care of myself and make sure that my ears have, maintained some of their hearing while she's having this outburst and while she's going through her own thing. And finally, I picked her up and held her, and and then she told me, "Go over the fence," because we have a baby gate at the top of our stairs. And I said, "Why do you want to go over the fence?" And she said, "I want a snack." It was like 2 in the morning. And I thought, okay, yeah, you just expended a whole lot of energy being angry and sad. And I mean, her scream sounded like she was just being betrayed. And I thought, you really need this. So we're going to go down and get you some food. And hopefully, this will give you the message that you can trust us and listen to us and share with us what you're feeling and that it's okay and safe. And so we just went down and had a snack. And then she was done and she went back to bed and she went right back to sleep. So I've been having a number of these situations lately where I'm really having to come up against my own agenda in
Mhm.
relationship to what she wants,
Mhm.
and to consider what are my priorities right now. What's
Mhm.
most important in this moment? Is it to do I have the time and space to allow her to feel what she's feeling and to honor that? And or is there a matter of safety involved? Do I need to stop her from doing something? Or is there a matter of time involved? Are we late for something? And what are my priorities? So I really had to re-examine my boundaries in this scenario, in these situations. But part of it has also been handling her anxiety, right? We, my husband and I swap care for her with her. So every other day she's with one of us. And so she's taken to asking, who am I going to be with tomorrow?
Mhm.
And when she doesn't know who she's going to be with or what she's going to be doing the next day, then these outbursts get much more intense. So managing her anxiety by letting her know, okay, so this is what our day is going to look like tomorrow. We're going to do this and then this and then this. And then you have a choice, right? But just going a little bit ahead, not all the way ahead. Because I had to think, I don't know, how much can she handle as a 3-year-old? I honestly, I often forget how old she is, because she is very capable and very strong and very willful and independent and all these things. But I have to remind myself she's only 3.
Hmm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think that's interesting that you brought up the times that it's not possible to listen to a child's needs at some points, like when you're late or when you're in a vehicle and they need to use the bathroom and you're stuck in a traffic jam or something like that. Like things happen and you can't always, as a child, get your needs taken care of. And that is a real part of reality. And I don't know, there's just so many things that lead up to our understanding that, oh, I'm in middle school. People around me do not want to know what I'm feeling. I have to hide myself because it's not safe to be real here. You know, that's just a reality for a lot of children.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. I'm kind of relating. I don't have children, but I'm just thinking of, and thank you for sharing those because it's really great to think about. How I was just thinking about how am I with my emotions when they're having a tantrum.
Yeah.
That's a great thought.
And they come to me and I'm like, show up and I'm going, oh shoot, we got a pile up. Well, what do you want? And they go, I'm not going to tell you. Because I laugh, but it's really, it's how do I find a more tender way to listen and be, something that had come up to me is resistance, like really leaning into the resistance, which was what I was thinking and feeling while you were talking, Anchen. And when you sat down and you just were like, okay, I'm just going to be here. This is what's going on. And I guess one motion is I go to the vocabulary list, inside I can consult a little differently with my own issues that are going on, but finding that tenderness and empathic, listening with empathically, empathic mindfulness practices. That's why we call them empathic mindfulness. I was revisiting that the other day. I kind of go, oh, mindfulness practices. I do this and I'll feel better. It's so in our programming, right, Lindsay? Like you were saying, it's like, where did this all come from? It just happens so fast, even with the work we've been doing for so long. And I thought, it's empathic. And this being with the horses, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I can, it's tuning me more into this. It's starting me to help me relate more that way. My children.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Yeah. And
love that.
What is there? Consider what's going on here in this emotional pileup. It's not letting me flow because we got places to go. And maybe I can't, maybe we can't stop emotions right now and deal with this. So we need to be conscious of it. And we might need to, it may look like we're repressing, but we're not repressing. We're consciously setting something aside. Because right now it's what's going on. And so then you're in a whole new dynamic of relating and empathically connecting with the situation and what's needed. And
I want to point out that repressing it's not a bad thing to do. It's a necessary skill to have, especially when you're a kid and your parents aren't giving you any other options for how to express yourself or how to handle your emotions, right? I mean, and sometimes it's not appropriate to show your emotions or to express how you're feeling in certain situations, like, I don't know, if you're sitting in the classroom and you're like super bored. You're like, oh my God, right? But teachers don't like seeing that. So finding a way to make yourself acceptable is very much a part of fitting into society. And it's completely okay to do that as long as you, like Jeanette said, take time later to listen and to take care of it, right? You're setting them aside so you can re-examine them or give them a space to speak in a place where you're safe and where it's appropriate to do so.
Yeah. I love the idea of being a parent to ourselves as adults, that we get to listen to our inner self, our emotions with compassion and kindness that we want, we would hope that everyone offers to children. Yeah, I remember seeing a video that was like accidentally taken of me talking to my son, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm super nice. What a cool mom I am. And the thing that's interesting is it's easier sometimes for me to be compassionate and loving towards my own children than it is towards my inner child. And I find that that is something I think I'm probably not alone. I think a lot of adults we treat ourselves in ways to try to be to places on time, or to just try to make things look like they're okay, because that's been the pattern that we used in the past to cope. And that's actually something I'm noticing as more flow of emotion is allowed to happen, the more emotions come forward to say that is not going to work anymore. You can't lie. And we're not okay with that. And so it actually can feel like as you listen to emotion, you're getting answers you don't want to have, because it changes the patterns of repression that have kept you on time for work, put on clothes and makeup, and the sometimes your inner self is saying, I'm sorry, you're listening to us now, and we've got to let you know that this situation is no longer acceptable for us. And then working with the aftermath of listening can be pretty big.
It can be very uncomfortable. Absolutely. Because sometimes you're right, your emotions bring forward truths that you're not ready for, or that challenge the idea of who you are, right? And it can bring forward panic, like, oh no, this is no. Or hatred even, like, oh, I hate that part of myself that's so true.
Yes, exactly.
And so it can be this push pull back and forth until things just get to a point where it's too uncomfortable to go on in the way you've been going on.
Yeah.
I think is it okay that a cattail's coming up into the screen here in a minute? Speaking of, another example of working with emotions and how they flow, what they need. Literally today, I started to feel a little bit of the pile up, and the shame messages started coming up. But what was really new for me was it was as if I looked, shame was coming here, and it was like, I don't really want to do this, but this is a contract you haven't worked out yet. And I know I've been told to show it to you. I literally saw it come to me going, it had its own sense of, I know this is hard for you. And I was like, oh, you're right. I got that from, that's a social contract, that I really got entrenched from my mom. And I was like, okay, I can work on that right now. All right, you're bringing me some information. It was brilliant in its own right. And then I had reached a point where I could just turn to it and go, oh my gosh, you're just showing up, and you're right. Right now, let's work on it. It's going to take a little time. We've got a number of years in our belt, under our belt here, that's been responding, and it's in the water too. And shame's like, oh, okay. Anger's going, yeah, this is awesome. Like, we can maybe get some stuff done. Anxiety's going, okay, all right, she's going to go for a walk now and just take a break. Yeah. I was able to come back, refocus, and think about what it is I needed to do. So
Hmm. That's
Nice.
beautiful. Yay, good for you,
our
Jeanette.
little kids, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're all at all different stages of life, all of those emotions all at once sometimes.
So true.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they represent different parts of you at different ages. You know, here's my 3-year-old and she just wants to be cuddled, and here's my 13-year-old and she's like, give me some independence.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really good.
she just wants that snack. Oh, I've been living out that snack a little too much during this pandemic, and I realize it's the envy because my mom never let me go have that snack or that cookie. Can always blame it on our moms, right? But no, I'm just saying. Never got the chance to go, oh, envy's telling me that my resource that I need right now to help take care of myself is this. Okay, let's go do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's beautiful.
He says, I'm appreciated. Oh, I got something to say.
Love it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thanks so much for joining me today.